what evil, look the heart of game. The Shadow Knows. Hi, I'm the Shadow Knows, and I'm back with something quite different. I'll have a closer look at the game Buggy Boy, and I'll compare it on the Commodore 64 and the Atari ST. Commodore 64 on the left, Atari ST on the right. And yes, I said it was quite blocky on the Commodore 64, and it still is. I stay with that. The graphics are blocky, much nicer on the Atari ST, but not at this moment. But you can clearly see it runs much smoother on the Commodore 64. Frame rate is much higher than on the Atari, and the Atari is faster than the Amiga. But I still like playing the 16-bit games a little bit more. Don't know why. Maybe just it looks so much better. And yeah, they didn't even bother to write finish or leg 2 on the checkpoint. That's weak. They should have at least done that. But it plays really good on the Commodore 64. Nothing wrong with the game. It's just compared to the 16-bit version, it just doesn't look that good. And I hope this side-by-side video works out okay. It's really annoying to edit. And yeah, I play a lot better if I don't have to comment at the same time. But the Commodore 64 also has all elements of the game. And you don't realize it if you are playing it, but the frame rate on the Commodore 64 is really much higher than on the Atari. Looks quite choppy on the Atari and really fluent on the Commodore 64. But those trees, those blocks, everything is so damn blocky. And yeah, game over on the Commodore 64. I played a little bit longer on the Atari, but okay, let's have the East track now. Again, it looks much nicer on the Atari, not so much the background. And it's also a little easier on the Atari. And the layout is not really the same on both machines. I mean, you got those ramps much higher on the Atari. Here's the tunnel. The layout is quite similar. Not exactly the same, but close. So and here you can see that the Commodore 64 version is clearly faster. I didn't speed up anything. And wasn't there a narrow passage on the Commodore 64? Have I missed it on the Atari or what?
Shit.
Yeah. But much faster on the Commodore 64. I really didn't realize that while I was playing it. And I think it makes it a little bit harder. But the north, east, south and west and south course are harder than the off-road course, so... And I got quite far on the Atari. I think I finished the south course in the first try. So it's not too bad if the game is a little bit harder on the Commodore 64. And yeah, that's the end. So let's continue with the west course. And it looks quite different on both machines. Didn't realize that. Looks really different. And yeah, you can accelerate while jumping, so it's a good idea if you are not at full speed, don't jump. And it's not that easy to stay on those narrow bridges. And sometimes you have to jump. So usually it's not a bad idea to avoid those jumps, but you could see on the Atari it was really good to jump. And I really hope this video works out well. I have to re-edit this split screen. It's really not very intuitive in KLAN Live to do something like that. But I think if I do the Atari ST versus Atari STE videos eventually, I'll do them like that. It's the best way to... Oh, and I hate those lantern posts. I always want to drive into them. Yeah, I think that's the best way to point out the differences between the two versions. But I start to begin to understand why many were defending the Commodore 64 version. It might be blocky as hell, but it looks incredibly fluent. Much more fluent than the 16-bit version. But the other courses are much more fun than the off-road. And again, game over on the Commodore 64. It's really much harder on the C64 than on the Atari. A little out of sync there. Oh, and much too bright on the Commodore 64, but I can change that now, and I think I won't record it again. So you have to live with that. I've changed my setup for my TV. Not the setup for the TV, the setup where which machine is plugged into which switch box. And I'm using another LG switch box which doesn't degrade the picture that badly as the previous did. And yeah, I need different settings for my camera. Atari is still in the same plug, same switch box, so yeah, settings work as before. And I really don't have too much to say about this game anymore. Really, the 16-bit versions look much nicer, much higher resolution, much more detailed, but the Commodore 64 version is really much more fluent, more difficult, so probably it'll last a little longer. The game is not that hard. You eventually make it in all courses, and then you only have to beat your own high score. That's not too interesting. But still a fun game on the 16-bit. You don't realize that it's slower and the little choppiness if you're playing it. But if you're watching the video, it's clear the Commodore 64 version runs much smoother. And there never was anything wrong with the sounds or the controls on the Commodore 64 version. But the ramp is much higher and more impressive on the 16-bit version. And I think that's one reason why I still prefer it on the Atari or the Amiga. Yeah. And it's easy for me to choose a different version because I have all my machines plugged in and plug into switch boxes, so I can just power them up and switch to it. But the Commodore 64 version is definitely worth playing. And I think it's game over. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope if you like it, please comment. And thanks for watching.